Well, folks, something truly bizarre and frankly historic is unfolding right before our eyes in the terrorist state of Israel, and I can't stress enough how layered this moment is. Let's start with the headline that's got everyone talking. War criminal Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly in far worse shape than his spin doctors are letting on. While his office insists, he's just battling a mild case of food poisoning from some spoiled food. Yeah, we're supposed to believe that. Whispers coming out of Israeli media circles say the situation is a lot more serious. His intestinal inflammation has apparently intensified, and while the public has been told he's recovering at home and still working, several leaks suggest he's actually receiving treatment in a medical facility, not just sitting in bed with a ginger ale. The man hasn't been seen in public for days, way beyond the supposed 3-day rest period. It's looking less like a short break and more like he's dodging the public eye and his courtroom obligations under the guise of illness. His court hearings, mind you, have now been pushed all the way to September. How convenient? But what's really wild about this isn't just Netanyahu's mysterious illness. It's the ripple effects his absence is causing both inside and outside the terror state. You'd think with their leader missing in action, the Israeli public would panic or double down on support. But no, what we're seeing instead is a growing visceral rejection of Netanyahu's genocidal policies from within his own base. For the first time, we are seeing Israeli settlers, and I don't use that word lightly, marching in protest, not just to call for hostage deals or political reforms, but to demand an end to the slaughter in Gaza. You heard that right. Before I roll in clips from the protests, listen friends, I need your help, and it's more important now than ever. If this video spoke to you, please like it so others can see it too. That one click could help wake someone up to the truth they've never heard. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do. Thank you and God bless.
We are marching now in Tel Aviv, holding bags of flour and the pictures of these children that have been starved to death by our government and our army. We demand to stop the starvation in Gaza. We demand to stop the annihilation of Gaza. We demand to stop the daily killing of children and innocent people in Gaza.
Is the man responsible for the mass killing of men, women, and children? Hundreds of thousands of them. But the bigger criminals are the people who are allowing him to do it, when it is in their power immediately to end it. I'm sorry if I sound angry. I am beyond myself with anger at the situation in Gaza today. And Mr. Churchill used to write, he was the first man ever to use post-it notes. He used to write on folders, files, binders, action this day. If these Western governments don't take action this day, that woman will be dead, just like that man is dead. And all the other men, women, and children who are starving to death right now, never mind the shot and shell and rockets and bombs.
This shift in tone is unprecedented. Netanyahu's entire political career has been built on fear-mongering, playing on the anxieties of Israelis, especially the settler bloc, convincing them that endless war and Palestinian subjugation are the only ways to survive. He sold them a paranoid fantasy that any empathy for Palestinians is weakness, that genocide is security, and that collective punishment is just self-defense. But now, as the bodies pile up and starvation becomes a grotesque weapon of war, that narrative is cracking. The cognitive dissonance is too loud to ignore. Even those who once supported the siege are waking up to the horror of what's been done in their name. Even Piers Morgan is defecting. The Young Turks Anna Kasparian and Gideon Levy were all in arm destroying Netanyahu's criminality in broad daylight.
Far from finalising a ceasefire, Israel has launched a massive new air and ground offensive on central Gaza, and every day more Gazans are being killed as they try to get food and water. 21 died in a crush on Friday. 39 were killed in gunfire near aid sites on Saturday. 67 were killed in gunfire as they waited for UN aid trucks on Sunday. Fewer than a quarter of Americans now say that Israel's actions are fully justified. 74% of Israelis told a recent poll they support a ceasefire which returns the hostages.
Not judge the efficacy, the validity, or the justification on a war on how many civilians are being killed. That is not how you judge a war. No war has ever been judged. In the Korean War, 3 million civilians were killed. In Iraq, more than 500,000 civilians were killed. In the Syrian civil war, 300,000 civilians were killed. Civilian death is always a terrible thing, but is a consequence.
Can you name me? All right, Shabbos. Can you name me? Name me a recent war since World War II where the proportion of children in civilian deaths has been this high. Can you just give me one?
I just did. The Syrian civil war, the Korean war, the Vietnam war, any battle in Iraq, whether it was
You believe
Mosul,
the proportion of children to civilians killed was higher than it is right now in Gaza?
I just told you all of those wars, and you can fact check me all you would like. The reality is, and this is why you have John Spencer on repeatedly from West Point, Israel has one of the lowest combatant to civilian ratios in modern warfare. They're operating in a dense
but I've also had lots of military people who don't agree with it.
Where's your decency, man? Where is your decency? Seriously, where is your decency? Do you not see the videos? Do you not see the starving children? 19 kids died of starvation over the last 48 hours. Where is your decency? I get that you're Jewish. I get that this is about your identity. I get that you want to defend your people. But sometimes you can't defend the indefensible.
You see, when people who have been complicit, even if passively, begin to recognize the humanity of the people they've been taught to hate, that's a seismic shift. It's a terrifying one for the Israeli right-wing establishment, but a long overdue and necessary awakening for everyone else.
How many people need to die for you to be pleased with this slaughter campaign that's currently going on? How many? Tell me. When is it enough for you? Funny. And no one is buying the lie that that the genocide would end if Hamas releases the hostages. I'm not going to believe for a second that Israel gives a damn about the hostages because they've been bombing the Gaza Strip. They've been blocking humanitarian aid from entering the Gaza Strip. That not only impacts Palestinians who are being slaughtered by Israel, but it also obviously is going to impact the hostages. No one is buying this dog and pony show, okay? It's so obvious what Israel is doing here. They're even bombing Syria because they allegedly care about the Druze. It's not about the Druze. By the way, that Syrian civil war, Israel was part of that proxy war that you have Israel part of, the United States part of, Turkey a part of. All sorts of countries were involved in that proxy war. It was absolutely horrific. And now, of course, Israel is taking full advantage of the situation to annex more land from Syria again.
Because frankly, if you've watched what's happening in Gaza, the starvation, the flattening of entire families, the weaponization of food and medicine, and still think this is about security, then you're not paying attention. And it's clear now that more and more Israelis are paying attention. With Netanyahu out of the picture, even temporarily, the spell is broken. The mask is off.
1,007th of October, Israel committed. The children, if you take the numbers, the figures, the way that they are being killed, you see that we cannot claim again and again about the 7th of October and justify with the 7th of October all those horrible crimes against humanity which are taking place. There is a stage in which this is unacceptable anymore. You cannot again and again try to remind us about the terrible things that happened on the 7th of October and the 20 living hostages. You know that every 6 minutes, every 6 hours, Israel is killing 20 people, and they are as innocent as the hostages, among them many children. So stop with the 7th of October. It's unacceptable to rely only on this and to say the 7th of October enable us to go crazy and to do those crimes.
Now, this isn't to say that everything suddenly changed or that settler protests will stop the war machine overnight. Far from it. But symbolic shifts matter. The images of Israeli Jews carrying photos of Gaza's starving children, marching and chanting for an end to genocide, those moments pierce through the propaganda fog. They show that conscience isn't entirely dead in that society, and they show that Netanyahu's illness might be more than just a medical event. It might just be a political and moral collapse in motion. What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure. This is no longer just about food poisoning. It's about the rot in a system that has long relied on dehumanization to function, and that rot is now being exposed for the whole world to see. Thank you so much for sticking with us till the end of the video. It truly means a lot. We'll see you in the next update. Until then, stay safe and God bless you.
We cannot agree with death and killing.